Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Xavier the Magnificent X here. And today I wanted to do another video that's a little different from some of my previous ones. I want to touch upon something that I personally believe that the fragrance community needs to touch upon a little more. I'm going to cover and explain in a little rant/informative dialogue that'll explain to you why department store fragrances are one big money grab at the end of the day. So without further ado, let me explain to you. So the other weekend I went to the mall because a few of my fellow friends, they recommended Mont Blanc Legend, a few other designer fragrances, and on the trip at the mall that day, I was at Perfumania, and I overheard a conversation by one of the wife of a couple, where the wife was praising to the sales associate on she was actually praising on how great Mont Blanc Legend smelled, and that it was one of the best men's fragrances that she ever smelled. And I have to give you guys newsflash here. Mont Blanc Legend smells like everything else. And I'm being honest. It smells like 80 other fragrances in the market. Skulls and Roses by Ed Hardy, Davidoff's Champion, and the list goes on. I'm saying that there's nothing really that unique about Mont Blanc Legend, if you ask me. They just fickle with a couple of notes and whatever. You put it on, lasts a few hours, and it's gone. Now listen, here's what I'm saying. If you go to Macy's today and you buy a gift set of Mont Blanc Legend, it's around 88 bucks. So with tax out of the door, you're gonna pay around 100 bucks, maybe $97 and some change, or whatever. Now, you can go to beautyencounter.com instead. There's like several houses you could choose from, a decent variety, where you could pay about that price, maybe $15-20 more, and get a superior fragrance like Dior Homme Parfum, for instance. You guys can go to Lily Direct, put in site F15 as your coupon code, and get Dior Homme Parfum for around $95 shipped. Or you can squander your money all the way on Macy's for Mont Blanc Legend for 100 bucks. Now tell me this. Tell me, guys. Which of the two is a better fragrance? And let's be honest. Ask yourself this. What fragrance is better blended? What fragrance is better composed? What fragrance has the better note composition? And that's one thing you need to take into account. The other thing you need to take into account is this. There are a few unique fragrances out there in the market. Like, for instance, Givenchy Pie, Dior Homme Intense, Prada Amber Pour Homme, Prada Amber Intense, Yves Saint Laurent's M7, Tom Ford's Black Orchid, like those types of fragrances. Those are actual designer fragrances. The problem with it is the accessibility. What I mean by the accessibility is the instance where the average, normal, everyday Joe walks into the average department store where they're looking, they're smelling a few things, and they're walking out the door. Now, those fragrances are inferior to some of the ones that I just mentioned to you earlier. Now, if you want to get into the more complex, more daring fragrances, like for instance, tell me, where are you going to find Dior Homme Intense? First of all, you have to know the fragrance exists, number one. Number two, outside of FragranceNet, FragranceX, and the other fragrance discounters, you would have to go and call a Dior boutique in New York City, for instance, pay for it over the phone, and have it sent to you. Because honestly, the average Joe, especially me in Columbus, Ohio, doesn't have accessibility to a Dior boutique. Okay, here's what I'm trying to emphasize. Here's why department store fragrances are one big money grab. They all use the same notes. They all ride each other's coattail. None of them will take any risk, and they all smell exactly alike. When I was at the counter at Macy's, I went and smelled a little bit of Nautica, a little Versace, some Dolce & Gabbana, some Issey Miyake. And at the end of the day, guys, they were all citrus, they were all a little bit of tonka and a little bit of woods. That was it. Like, one has a little bit more woods at the top with an ounce of splash of spiciness in the heart. The other one is like all citrus at the top with woods in the heart and some tonka or vanilla or musk in the base. Like, they were so similar that really I couldn't even tell the difference. It would be redundant to own those fragrances. Outside of maybe a Burberry London, La Nuit Alone, that's a bit unique. Dolce the One, that's a bit unique to some people. But I can tell you this, if you and I went to a field trip to Macy's at the men's fragrance counter, and you and I went there, I could literally count on my hands 5 to 8 fragrances that you should buy for their uniqueness, and yet say, yeah, I think you should buy that fragrance because that's unique. Once you cross that threshold of 5 to 8 bottles, that's it. Everything else is so redundantly, pitifully similar that owning all these limited summer edition scents is redundant. I'm telling you guys with experience, none of us collectors reach for those department store fragrances. None of us give those fragrances the time of day outside of, like I said, Burberry London, Givenchy Pie, maybe La Nuit Alone, and a few others. But all those other fragrances, I'm telling you, are all citrus, a little bit of something else, and that's it. They take no risk. Actually, what these department stores doing, if you think about it, at the end of the day, is they're taking advantage of you. Like, they know how to sell. I mean, these people are marketing geniuses. Believe me, everyone. What they'll do is they'll have a sales associate standing outside the door during these one-day sale holiday specials or whatever. They'll spray something on the card for you. You end up liking it and buying it. And that's it. That's the gist of your shopping experience at Macy's and some of these other department stores. Whereas with us fragrance collectors, it would be ridiculous to spend that kind of money on those fragrances. Like, for instance, I went and smelled Armani Code Sport and Dior Homme Sport. They smell exactly alike. They smell almost exactly identical. They just took the same DNA and twisted it just a little bit. Even with Allure Sport and Versace Pour Homme, those two are very, very similar. Just some slight differences. What I'm saying is, now what can you do instead, everyone? You can do what is called an alternative splits. Now they are, in other words, decants of superior fragrances that are offered by a lot of the other fragrance reviewers on YouTube. Like Max Forti was splitting Oud Istefan by Dior, it's Privé collection. Daver of the Fragrance Bros was splitting Noir Extreme. I mean, people were splitting these superior fragrances. My Mickers is splitting just about everything. So you don't have to waste your money on these department store fragrances, whereas these split fragrances are going to last you longer, project better, give you more complex, more natural smelling composition. Don't waste your money on that junk at the department stores. I'm telling you now. Okay, if you're really going to be technical, you'd spend, like I say, $90 to $95 on Dior Homme Parfum, shipped to your door. 2-3 sprays will last you all day. 2 or 3 sprays is less than a quarter mil. So in comparison, you're getting a way better value of Dior Homme Parfum at $90 to $95 shipped than you are with Mont Blanc Legend at $100, and it only lasts a few hours. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? So here's all this brings down to my final point. If you are new to this fragrance community, this fragrance hobby, and you're looking for fragrances to please people, and you're kind of new, and you're also looking for fragrances for beginners, then by all means stay at the stores, stay at Sephora, stay at Macy's, those types of stores. But if you want to get into collecting like myself and have an arsenal of different fragrances for different occasions, then you need to learn to shy away from these stores. I'm telling you, I'm really cautioning you to be cautious, whether you are looking for fragrances as a beginner yourself, whether you're looking into collecting like myself, or whether you're a spouse who buys fragrances for a significant other. I hope that I have encouraged all of you to become better consumers, because with these department store fragrances, the name and bottle looks like the greatest thing in the world, whereas chances are you may end up buying something that smells like something you've already have. So that's my take on department store fragrances. Let me know what you have to say in the comments section. As I always suggest, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. I'll appreciate you for it. And other than that, take care and have a magnificent day. Peace.